So I had prepared a loaf already so I could show you live how it looks. It's just come out of the oven. I'm going to lay it here. Okay. So let's begin. Today I'll be making almond chai cake. Why do I call it chai cake and not tea cake? You'll come to know very soon because I have flavored it with certain spices which really elevates this cake and makes a difference in your regular tea cake. So shall we begin? This recipe is going to be 100% whole wheat. Okay, it's a very healthy cake and there are a few variations which you can do which we can talk about later. Let's move ahead with the recipe. I'm going to be posting the recipe later in the comment section. I'm going to just talk about the ingredients we're going to use first. I've taken 1 cup of whole wheat flour, atta, and then I've taken half cup of powdered sugar. Instead of powdered sugar, you can take half cup of brown sugar as well, or you could take half cup of jaggery as well. So usage of these kind of powdered sugars, any other color, would change the color of the cake as well as the texture a bit. If you put jaggery or brown sugar, the sweetness might reduce a bit. That's alright. You just have to increase maybe like a teaspoon. And then I talk about how you balance the wet ingredients. Do not use any liquid sweeteners because then that changes the ratio of all our ingredients. So here's half cup of powdered sugar. Regular granulated sugar, I've powdered it. You can even use caster sugar. Then I've taken half cup of curd here, regular curd, whatever is available at home. Then I've taken quarter cup of milk. The milk has to be room temperature and not hot. We don't want the temperature of all our other ingredients changing. So I've just taken regular room temperature milk. And then here I've taken quarter cup of oil. I've taken regular vegetable oil which I use at home generally. You can take olive oil, but again that changes the flavor of the cake. So I suggest you use your regular neutral flavor oil which you use at home. Then over here I've taken half teaspoon of baking powder and quarter teaspoon of baking soda. These are our rising agents because we are not using any eggs here. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't use eggs in my cooking. So we've taken baking powder and baking soda. Lastly, I've taken a pinch of salt. Salt I generally like to put in all my bakes, a bit, just a pinch, because I feel you need that hint of saltiness to balance the intense sweetness which comes from the baked item. So it's always a good idea to just put a pinch of salt to kind of balance the sweetness. And lastly, I've taken our star ingredient, which is 1 heaped teaspoon of chai masala. That's the reason I call it a chai cake, because I've taken chai masala here. This chai masala is actually homemade, but you get them in the markets. This is what we use to flavor our masala tea. In case you don't have masala at home, then you could replace it with 1 teaspoon of cardamom powder. Even that works beautifully in this recipe. You could just put 1 teaspoon of cardamom powder. This is 1 teaspoon of chai masala. And then since we're making an almond chai cake, I've taken about 4 tablespoons of chopped almonds. They are regular almonds. I've not soaked them, not done anything to them. They're just sliced into these kind of pieces. Into this I've added 1 tablespoon of flour. Regular wheat flour I've added. Basically we add this. See, I've already put it here and I'm just going to mix it with my fingers like this. So why we add it here is because I'll be mixing the almonds into my batter. And when it's baking, since this is heavy and our batter is going to be light, it might sink to the bottom. We don't want it sinking to the bottom. We want it incorporated entirely into the batter. So that's the reason I've added flour into this and just mixed it gently like this so that the almonds stay where they are in the batter. And then I have just a bit of oil, water, again room temperature water. Once we make our batter, we'll know whether the consistency is fine or not. So it's good to just keep a little bit of water handy and you can mix the water in case you feel that it's not consistent enough. So let's move on. First, let's mix our dry ingredients. So this is my wheat flour. I'm going to be mixing the salt, chai masala, baking powder and baking soda. All 4 in this and keeping it aside. The reason why we mix the baking powder and baking soda in the wheat first is so that the baking powder and baking soda gets very well incorporated into the wheat flour. Once you mix in the wet ingredients, sometimes if you've not mixed it properly, it's not gonna get incorporated well and the cake is not gonna fluff up nicely. So we mix the dry ingredients separately. Just mix it with your spoon, it's fine. Like this. Okay. And keep this aside. Now in this bowl, I'm going to be mixing my wet ingredients. So first I take the curd. Then I add the milk. I will be posting the measurements, so don't worry. Then I'm mixing in the oil. And then lastly, I mix in the powdered sugar. You want to make it more healthy? You could definitely add brown sugar and jaggery like I mentioned. Now I'm just going to be mixing it with this spatula so that the sugar, oil, milk and curd get incorporated very well. We want the oil to emulsify nicely in the wet ingredients. That's why we do it separately. It's really well mixed now. Now I'm going to be adding the wet ingredients little by little, the dry ingredients into the wet, half and half, and incorporating them. You don't need to use the beater here. You could just use your spatula or even a whisk. Both are fine. You don't need a beater at all. This is such an easy recipe. You just have to think about it, go into the kitchen and just make it. So what you can do when you're mixing these ingredients, you can preheat your oven to 180 degrees for about 10 minutes. Since we're going to be taking 5-10 minutes to make the batter, we'll preheat the oven. Once this half of the dry ingredients is mixed, I'm going to add the remaining half. Make sure there are no lumps. Yeah. Now I'm going to mix the other half. If there are any ingredients, you can put them in the comments below and I'll answer them. You don't need to overmix this batter at all. It's really not required. Just mix enough that all the lumps go and everything gets incorporated very well. I'll add just a teaspoon of water here. So why I have not mentioned water in the recipe is because every flour is different, every packet is different. If you mill it yourself in the wheat mill, then the texture is different. If you pick up a packet of the regular whole wheat, then it's different. The texture is different. So it really depends on what kind of wheat you're using and if water is required or not. So this just has to be a semi-pouring consistency like this. My lumps are almost gone, but I'll anyway just give it a quick whisk again. Yes, it's gone now. And now I'm going to be mixing just half the almonds in the batter. Just half. And I'm going to add very little water because there's a bit of flour content going because of the almonds. And now just mix this well. That's it. And now what we're going to do is, I have my loaf pan ready here. I've used a regular loaf pan. If you don't have a loaf pan, then you could use a half kg round cake tin as well. Even that is absolutely fine. I have only merely brushed it with a bit of butter or ghee. To this, what we're going to do is we're going to flour the tin. So what does flouring mean? It's basically that you add the wheat flour to all the sides and then just tap it like this so that the wheat is coated to all the ghee which has been put, and then you empty it here. So can you see the flour has been coated to the ghee? we don't want the quantity of the ghee or the butter which I have put in this tin to get mixed into my cake batter. That's the reason we put flour as well, so that it is also easy to unmold. Now that I've added the flour, I'm going to place my tin and just pour this batter into the pan. You could use silicone pan as well. If you're using silicone, then you don't need to oil it at all, grease it or flour it, nothing. You just pour it directly. Just a bit more. Yeah. Just spread it with your spatula. I'm going to show you a close-up, don't worry. Like this. And then the remaining almonds, I'm going to just top it onto the loaf. Like this. So I'll just show you the close-up. This is how it will look. Can you see it? Yeah? Okay. So once this is done, it goes into my oven for about 30 minutes. You have to put it inside for 30 minutes. Anyway, after 25 minutes, because every oven works differently. Even if the temperature says 180, maybe your oven might be operating at 190 or 170. So just to be on the safe side, after 25 minutes, just check your oven. If you have to insert a toothpick like this, put it in both the corners of the loaf pan and see if there's any crumb sticking here. If it's slightly wet also, that means it needs another 5 minutes. If it's done like this, if it's completely clean, if the toothpick is clean, you take it out and you remove it. Once it's cooled a bit, at least about 5-10 minutes, is when you unmold it. It comes out very easily, but do not cut the slices for at least half an hour until it's not completely in room temperature. If you slice it beforehand, it's going to be very cakey and fudgy. It's not going to come clean like a nice loaf. So I'm not going to cut this now. I'm going to cut this after half an hour. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll just show you a close-up of how beautiful this looks. So as you can see, I had actually used a silicone pan. So the back of my cake is a beautiful brown here. Look at the sides. This is the kind of color we want on our almond cake. Okay. The almonds are just roasted on top. Make sure that you switch on only the bottom rod, which is in the bake mode. I have a Morphy Richards, so for me, bake mode means the bottom rod. So I kept it on in the bottom rod for about exactly 30 minutes, and this is how my cake came out. Once you slice it, you can store it in a bread tin or a airtight container easily for about 5 to 6 days. Nothing happens to it. It's an amazing tea time snack, coffee time snack. It's a nice snack to put in your kids' tiffins. Obviously, there's no tiffin happening now in the lockdown, but it's a wonderful snack to have, and it's so healthy. Only way you can make it healthier is by replacing the powdered sugar which I've taken into jaggery or brown sugar. So thank you so much for attending my almond chai cake class. If you do make it, do send me your pictures, tag me, and share it with me. If you have any doubts, you could post it in the comment section below, and I'll love to answer them. Just give me some time. I'll post the written recipe in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Bye.